Good morning, scholars and parents. We're back today for our phonics lesson for group 2. Before we get started, I just want to go over our sight words for the week, some of the letter sounds that we've been going over, as well as our diagrams. So I'm going to point to the word, and when I touch the word, I want you to say what word. Find. Saw. Now. Awesome. One more time. Find. Saw. Now. Good job. So our letter sound from last week was W. So W for W. W for watch. Say it with me one more time. W for watch. Good job, guys. So one of the diagrams that we went over last week, and just to review really quickly the difference between a diagraph and a blend. A blend is two sounds that come together very quickly and almost makes one sound. It sounds like it's making one sound. And our diagraph is two letters that only makes that one sound. So last week, our diagraph was CK, and CK together says K. Everyone says K. Awesome. And I noticed that at the beginning of the week, Ms. Fritz went over a new diagraph with you. And our new diagraph has two letters. What letters? S and H. Awesome job. And SH says shh. What is SH? What sound does SH make? Shh. Awesome job. Shh for shoe. Say it with me. Shh for shoe. Good job, guys. Kiss your brains, please. Alrighty, so we're gonna go into our first routine. Our first routine is what word. I will say the sounds in a word, then you will say the word. So we'll go a little something like this. If I said stop, you would think about it and you would say stop. Awesome. And I want you to look for my cues. A lot of times I would do this to tell you to think about it. Don't say the word yet or the sounds yet. Just think about it. When I hold my finger up, I want you to say the word. So stop. Stop. Good job. Alrighty. So starting with our first word. Got it. Okay. Spot. Thinking time. What word? Spot. Awesome job. Next word. Stuck. Thinking time. What word? Stuck. Perfect. Next word. Sand. Thinking time. What word? Sand. Awesome job, guys. Everyone give yourselves a pat on the back. Good job. All right, it's time for our next routine. It is say it slowly. I will say a word slowly, then you will say each sound in the word, one sound at a time. So it would look a little something like this. I would say stuck. I would give you some thinking time. And I will say what sounds. Stuck. Awesome job. All right, let's go. Spot. Thinking time. What sounds do you hear? Awesome job. Spot. Awesome. Our next word is sand. Thinking time. Sand. Awesome job. All righty, moving on to our next routine. It is time for sound and say the words. You're going to use the sounds you know to read words. So listen to me sound and say the first word. Whoa, there I go. So I'm going to sound and say the first word. And actually, I want to kind of stop really quickly. And before we get started, I want to go over some blends really quickly because I'm looking and I'm like, they're going to really need to know these blends. Alrighty, so last week we went over a few blends and we talked about blends that we saw at a word and blends that we saw at the end of a word. So I'm going to start with our blends that we saw at the beginning of the words. So one of our first blends that we went over, oh, Miss Harrison touched the letters, was ST. And we know that ST says st. Awesome. ST says st. One of our other blends that we went over last week was the S and L. SL. When we blend them together, they're going to sound like they almost make one sound. And SL says S. Everyone say it with me. S. Good job. So now I'm going to introduce to you another blend that you will clearly see today. And in that blend, we have the letters SP. SP. S says S. P says P. When we try to blend them together really quickly to almost make one sound, SP says SP. Say it with me. SP says SP. Say it by yourselves. Awesome, awesome job, guys. All right, awesome. So we're gonna go over these blends one more time really quickly. ST says st. Awesome. SL says sl. Good job. And SP says sp. Good job, guys. All right, so now we can go back to our routine that we're gonna work on. And see if we can see some of those blends in our words. I'm going to turn it around. These are our beginning blends that I want us to see if we can see them in the words, if we can spot them. Oh, I see one of our blends right here. Do you see one of our blends? What sound does that make? Sp. Good job. I see one of our beginning blends here. ST. What sound does ST make? St. Awesome, awesome job. Now we're going to go over our ending blends. All right, guys. So these will be our ending blends. For our first ending blend, which means that this blend is going to come at the end of our words, we have the letters NT. Say it with me. NT. And when we blend those together really quickly, it says nt. Say it with me. Nt. NT says nt. Good job. Our next blend is ND. We're going to blend those together really quickly to almost sound like one sound. And ND says nd. Say it with me. ND says nd. By yourselves. Great job. And our last blend, well, look, it's also one of our beginning blends as well. ST says st. Say it with me. ST says st. By yourselves. Great job. I'm going to point to each blend and I want you to tell me what sound those blends make. Good job. Kiss your beautiful brains. Alrighty, so now it's time for us to sound out these words. We're going to use those beginning blends and those ending blends that we've been going over to sound out these words. Alrighty, so I'm going to sound out the first one. I'm going to sound this one out. And then just to kind of show you how we should be sounding out the words. And also to show you one of our strategies that we will use to sound out some of these words. So when we're sounding out some of our words that have 4 sounds in them, we can use our strategy called chunky monkey. And chunky monkey is when you look for smaller words or chunks that you know to sound out the word. So I'm going to demonstrate with this one right here. So I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to chop this word in half. Right here. I know that ST says st. So now I know that that's st, and I'm going to sound out the other end of this word. K. So now I know that this word is stuck. So I want you to also put in a little bit of work to chunk up these words, chop it in half, and find those sounds or letters that come together that you know what sounds they make. Alrighty, so let's do this one together. We know that SP says, what sound does SP make? Sp. Awesome. So we know it says sp. So now I'm going to cover up the sp. And we're going to sound out these 2 letters. A, t, ot. Awesome. So now we have sp, ot, and we put it all together is spot. Awesome, awesome job. Alrighty, so let's sound out this word. You're going to do this one by yourself. I'm going to help you to chunk it up. What sound does SA make together? Awesome. And now I'm going to cover that up, and we know that our blend ND says what sound? Awesome. And when you put it all together? Perfect. It is sand. Our last one, we're going to chunk it up. Sound it out. Now we're going to cover it up, and we have our ending blend, NT. We know NT says what sound. Put it all together. Perfect jobs. Everyone pat yourselves on the back. Okay, so it is time for sound and spell. We will sound words and then use letters to spell them. Watch and listen to me. Awesome. So the first word that I am going to sound and spell is sand. So I want to know how to spell the word sand. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say it slowly so I can hear all of the sounds in the words. Sand. So I heard s-a-n-d. S-a-n-d. Awesome. So now that I know all of the sounds that I heard in the word, it's time for me to start writing that word down. The first sound that I heard, the beginning sound was S. So then I'm going to write down my S. That is an interesting looking S. Miss Harris is not going to even do it like that. There we go. And the next sound I heard was S. I know that A says and I heard a blend. I heard and I remember that and is in D. So now I'm going to go back and sound my word out so I can make sure that I spelled the word the correct way. And sand. Awesome. So we're going to do this next one together. And the word is going to be stuck. We want to sound out stuck. So we're going to say it slowly. Everyone say it slowly with me. Stuck. What sounds did we hear in stuck? Let's see. Stuck. Stuck. Awesome. I heard a blend at the beginning. Did you hear the blend? What's the blend that you heard at the beginning? Awesome. And we know that is what letters? Correct. It is S-T. So now I need to go back. I'm going to say it slowly again to figure out what was that middle sound. What letter says U? Good job. Now we need to figure out what was that last sound that we heard, the ending sound. What letters says k? And it is one of our diagraphs. Remember, our diagraphs are two letters that makes one sound. Do you remember which one that was? Awesome. CK. Now I know there are no more sounds in this word. We need to go back and sound this out so we can make sure that we put in all of the sounds. So let's sound it out. Stuck. Awesome. So now I want you to pause the video and I want you to grab a piece of paper and a pencil or just something to write with, and you're going to sound out your own words. All right. So your word is sand. Remember to say the sounds you hear in the word. I want you to pause the video and spell out sand. Awesome. Once you sound it out and you write it down, please show it to your parent or whoever it is that's helping you with this video. Awesome. Your next word is went. Went. Pause the video and practice saying it slowly, getting the sounds out of the word and writing it down. Okay, once you write that word down, did you go back and sound it out to make sure that you spelled the word correctly? Good job. So please make sure that you share your word with whoever it is that's helping you with this video to make sure that you spelled the word correctly. Awesome job, guys. Alrighty, so now it is time for our look and say words. I'm gonna try to turn it around a little bit. Bring it down a little bit. Oh, not too far. Perfect. Alrighty, so we're getting ready to go over our look and say words. I like to do it where I will say the words first, and then you're going to repeat after me, and then we'll say them together, okay? And then you will say them by yourselves. All right, my turn. Saw, your turn. My turn. Do. You. Now. Let's say them together. Saw, do, you, now. Awesome, awesome job. Say them by yourselves. Great. All right, my turn. Of, find, saw, we. Our turn together. Of, find, saw, we. Your turn. Great job. Last line, my turn. Now is, come, find. Our turn. Now is, come, find. Your turn. Perfect, perfect job. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so we're gonna move on to our last routine. And our last routine is reading the sentences. So we're gonna take our time and we're going to read a story from our partner practice book. And when we read this story, we're going to practice things like chunking up words and finding our blends and our diagraphs. Okay, so before we get started, I want us to kind of go through and look for some of the ending blends and diagraphs that we see. So we're looking for this blend right here, ND, and what sound does ND make? Good job, guys. So I'm just going to kind of wander by each line and look for words that has in. Oh, there we go. Stop me when you see the I want you to go, stop, Miss Harris. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, that one does. It's a sight word, but it definitely has that blend in there. And it's up here too. Awesome. So now I want us to go in. I'm going to do it with a different color. And we're going to find the CK diagram. CK says, good job, guys. So when you see me coming close to it, I want you to go, stop, Miss Harris. Oh, you're right. There it goes. Thank you. Found it. Found it again. Right there. And I think that's it. Alrighty, so I'm going to demonstrate one of the strategies, chunking it up. And so I'm going to read this very first sentence to you. So I'm going to start here, and I can tell I'm going to start here because it's an uppercase letter at the beginning, so I know it's the beginning of my sentence. And I'm going to stop here at the period. Okay. Can you come and play in the, I don't know that word. So I'm trying to figure out some different things that I can do to help me with that word. And we already underlined our blend. So I know that says and. So I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm still having a hard time. What I can do is I can take my hand and I'm gonna karate chop it, right? You can't really see it, so I'm gonna karate chop it the other way, right there. And I'm going to cover up those letters and I'm gonna only sound out the S-A. S-A. So I know S-A says sa. So now I'm gonna cover up sa and I'm going to sound out my blend, which I know ND says nd. So nd, sand. Awesome. So now that I know that that word is sand, I'm going to keep going. I have to remember that that word is sand, so I don't have to come back and try to sound it out again. But you can if you need to. Sand with me, asked Matt. I need to go back and reread that sentence so I can make sure I understand what it's saying now that I know that word. Can you come and play in the sand with me? Asked Matt. I understand what that is saying now. I'm going to keep going. Yes, I can, said Jack. Let's go. Matt and Jack find a stick in the sand. Let's dig, said Matt. Matt and Jack dig a big pit. So if you're reading through this and there's some words you just don't know and you're like, I need to try to sound this out, I want you to remember to make sure that you look for those blends in those diagrams that you already know the sounds to, and also to chunk it up. Use Chunky Monkey and chunk that word up. All right, well, thank you for coming and learning with us and growing your brains with us. I hope you guys have a awesome rest of the week. Bye. Love you much.